she didn't miss a beat. She was awesome, and it was like the character plucked out of the cartoon, and it was a really awesome moment for my inner child. I have so much respect for the character actors and the character integrity in Disney, because I feel like I would be kind of terrified if the person who was playing the character I was portraying in a theme park.
What happens when Hollywood rewrites a classic, and the audience rewrites them right back? What started as a remake of a beloved Disney film has turned into a full-blown cultural war zone. It's Rachel Zegler versus Brett Cooper, Disney versus nostalgia, progressivism versus tradition, and the fallout is getting uglier by the day. Snow White was supposed to be a magical comeback. Instead, it's become a symbol of everything people think is wrong with modern Hollywood. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, an audio leak dropped. And oh boy, this one burned.
Far left-wing activists in Hollywood are turning on her, and Disney has canceled all of Rachel Zegler's appearances on their media platforms. Kind of tough.
It was less than a minute long. Scratchy, low quality, clearly recorded without consent. But the voice? Unmistakable. Rachel Zegler in what appears to be a behind-the-scenes PR session, vents in a tone that is miles from her polished Disney persona. "They don't deserve my respect if they hate women," she says bluntly, frustrated, emotional, and unapologetic. A tense silence follows, broken only by a nervous laugh from someone off mic. Likely a PR rep caught in damage control mode. To some, it was a moment of raw honesty. To others, it was the last straw in an already crumbling PR nightmare. Rachel wasn't just defending her vision anymore. She was torching the entire room. And Disney, they were not ready for this.
That said, our primary purpose is to entertain, and where we can entertain responsibly, obviously we try to do that. We try to have a positive impact on the world.
The clip exploded across social media. Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, every platform became ground zero. Her old interviews resurfaced. The one where she laughs about the prince being a stalker? Trending again. The one where she calls the original 1937 film outdated and boring? Back in rotation. Critics said she was mocking the very story she was hired to honor. Supporters claim she was just updating a dusty narrative. But the tone? The energy? Public sentiment was shifting, and not in her favor. Real quick, whose side are you on in this fairy tale fallout? Team Rachel or Team Brett? Sound off in the comments and smash that like button if you're not here for the sugar-coated Hollywood spin.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Snow White was supposed to be Disney's golden ticket, a $270 million mega movie. Instead, it opened to a sad $42 million. By week 3, it had nosedived 66%, and insiders whispered the company was staring down a $115 million black hole. Worse still, the controversy didn't start at the box office. It started months earlier. Long before the first ticket was sold, people were already tuning out.
Having seen the film cut together now, it's like you can just see that love pouring off of the screen, and so many people deeply, deeply cared about that production.
While Disney was doubling down on its modern makeover, someone else had a very different idea. Enter Brett Cooper, YouTuber, actress, rising conservative voice, and the woman now being called the real Snow White. Her indie film Snow White and the Evil Queen wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel. It brought back everything Disney had tossed aside. Love, romance, virtue, the prince, yes, even the happily ever after. And the people, they ate it up. Her trailer went viral. Fans called it nostalgic, magical, authentic. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't just about the movie anymore. It was about who should have starred in it to begin with.
Like, she is crapping on the original production. I was scared of it. Oh, it was so weird. It was a stalker. Like, I feel like if you are taking on the most iconic Disney role ever, genuinely, like this was the most prolific Disney film, I feel like you should kind of have some sort of reverence for the original production, for what it meant. It kind of seems like maybe this path that I'm taking right now is the path that Rachel Zegler should have taken instead of just running her mouth for the last 3 years.
It didn't take long for Rachel to notice. Her interviews grew colder, defensive, veiled jabs at other actresses, jumping on the bandwagon. Her tone shifted. Less Disney princess, more woman on edge. Meanwhile, YouTube takedowns comparing her to Brett Cooper racked up millions. TikToks mocking her press clips went viral. Memes flooded the comment sections. Zegler wasn't just battling criticism. She was now caught in a public duel with someone who hadn't even stepped on the Disney lot.
There you stand and you mold yourself to the character. And you lose a lot of yourself in doing that if you hate the project and if you hate the character you're playing. But if you're able to love the character, if you're able to love the production and the story you're telling, it makes it so much more meaningful, and you feel like you're actually part of something that can impact audiences, can impact the culture in a really important way.
Then came the curveball no one saw coming. Brett Cooper quietly left the Daily Wire. No big goodbye. No press tour. Just a subtle exit that sent shockwaves through her fanbase. Was it money? Creative control? A fallout with the execs? Nobody knows. But one thing's for sure, it worked. Her mystique grew. Her projects surged. Her fanbase multiplied. Think Brett made a smart move going solo? Drop a fire in the comments and make sure you're subscribed. We've got more coming.
Because she's involved, I want to believe that this movie will have some redeeming qualities. Will I actually watch it? Probably not. But I hope that it does for those of you who do watch it. But the lead actresses, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, are making it very, very difficult.
Inside Disney, the panic was now impossible to ignore. First, the live-action Tangled remake was shelved. Quietly. Then other planned reboots were put on indefinite hold. Insiders whispered about growing tensions between Gal Gadot and Zegler. Separate media days, separate dressing rooms, zero chemistry. Behind the curtain, Rachel's scenes were being re-edited. PR advisors were scrambling to reframe her image. But the damage had already been done. The internet had made up its mind, and it wasn't interested in compromise.
I don't think I can pick a favorite of my 7 friends. I don't think that's fair. In the movie, the cartoon as well, she has a very special connection to Dopey, and so do I. Wish I could be as positive as she is at times. That's certainly a difference we have, but I think it's a very human thing to not always see the bright side.
This isn't just about 2 actresses anymore. It's about 2 competing visions of what storytelling should be. Rachel's camp says fairy tales need to evolve, that girls don't need princes, and stories should reflect modern ideals. Brett's side says the classics still matter, that some stories don't need reinventing, that magic and morals are timeless. It's not just art, it's ideology. And fans are choosing sides with a passion we haven't seen since Barbie versus Oppenheimer.
Father tells her to be brave and strong. Don't you think that there's something redeeming about men in this story?
Very sweet photo. This is from my most recent trip to Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. I went for my 23rd birthday this year.
So where does this leave us? Rachel Zegler, once Disney's golden girl, is now the face of its biggest modern flop. Brett Cooper, once an outsider, is now leading a cultural comeback. And Disney, trapped in the middle, stuck between a progressive push and a nostalgic pull. But here's the real question. What kind of stories do you want? Fairy tales with love, magic, and virtue? Or modern sagas of strength, empowerment, and real-world grit? Let us know in the comments below. Are you Team Rachel or Team Brett? Which version of Snow White will you be watching and why? And don't forget to subscribe for more unfiltered, unapologetic breakdowns of Hollywood's most explosive moments. Because if this story has taught us anything, it's that the culture war isn't behind the scenes anymore. It's playing out on the big screen. And trust us, this saga is far from over.